What's up, viewers, subscribers, and agents alike? This your boy Light Lucy's favorite prince coming at y'all once again. Welcome to all the newcomers and new subscribers. If you're new to this channel, make sure you hit that notification button so you know particularly when my videos post. All right? If you watch this video around children, please remove them from the immediate vicinity, as my videos are not for children. Now, in reality to my last video, I noticed that someone made a comment, and I don't know if they were being agreeable, I should say, agreeable, more or less, or just being sarcastic. When I was explaining my last video about returning it back to the source, it was like, oh, so basically they sold it to another creditor. You didn't obviously listen to the video. It says on the piece of paper that I had, you want to make a dispute claim, and you want to also check the box. You want the original creditor, which means you're going back to the source. So if they did sell it, then it's your responsibility to call the original creditor to make sure they cancel it out. Because y'all have to understand, when someone sells your debt, and to be honest with you, as I was explaining in the video, how you going to sell something that doesn't exist? Okay? People are doing transfers with your information. See, a lot of people need to start saying, well, they sold my debt. You can't sell something that doesn't exist. That was the whole point of the video. You are not that individual on that paper. You're not. That was the whole point. You're sending it back to the source and letting them know who you are and who you are not. If they're saying you, the natural person, owes, you're saying, no, I don't. So if you can rebut this affidavit within 10 days, then we can talk. You're never going to receive a response because it goes beyond the purview of collections. Okay? So when collections doesn't understand what it says, who are they going to send it to? Legal department. Legal department is going to send it back down to them with a memo, basically wiping it off. It doesn't affect your credit if you dispute it. That was the whole point of the video. So I don't know if that person was being a smart ass or didn't know what I was saying. See, that's why I tell people on this path of knowledge, sometimes some of y'all just need to stop before you hurt yourself. Because if you listen plainly to me, which is why I like to make my videos so short, listen to what I'm saying. See, most people listen to people who speak with an objective sense of hearing. Some people listen with a learning sense of hearing. And some people just swear the fuck they know it all, but will listen to you anyway. However, this channel is about education. Okay? So what I was saying was, you deny. Anytime someone sends you something, you deny. Specific negative averment is a legal document via affidavit that says, I am not him or her. Okay? So now that I broke it down in the simplistic terms, let us proceed. Okay, people. The title of this video is called the Bretton-Woods Agreement Act. Let me tell you how we got in this mess in the first place. Okay? We got in this mess because these acts have taken place for decades. which have impacted millions upon millions of Americans. And it's, especially people who aren't educated. That's all we do on this channel. So let's talk about how we got into this mess, right? Okay, Bretton-Woods Agreement Act. Anyone can look it up. Online, it's free. All right? If you read carefully, this was established July 31st, 1945. It's enacted March 23rd, 2024. Okay? 2024. What year are we in, people? That was my point exactly. It's been going on for decades. But because the majority, and I mean a vast majority, of people don't read legalese, it still affects us to this very day, which is why economically we are in the conditions we are in. So this is 1945, and this was enacted 2024. They'll let you know it's been in full effect before many of you viewers, such as myself, were even born. So what I'm saying is, when I talk about security, see, a lot of people on other channels, they'll be like, oh, well, you can tap into your trust and you can pay bills and so forth and so on. Slow your roll, swole. Slow your roll. Unless you are in proper standing, quote unquote, and you know exactly why you're in the situation you're in, you'll start to understand it a little bit better. But no, y'all go to all these other channels and listen to information from people instead of doing your own study and research. I can't emphasize it enough on my channel. Now, the reason why we're in this situation, socially as we are in, don't care about your race, class, color, ethnicity, doesn't matter. The powers that be classify us socially as a whole. We are nothing more socially as a lower level revenue base. That's the truth, people. We make the most because the laws that were promulgated were designed to affect us financially. Okay? They were designed by a small group of quiet men who all came together and said, you know, this is what we're going to do. So when people talk about your birth certificate is a bond, yes, it is. But it's also a banking note. Okay? People who get Social Security checks, you're not getting it from Social Security. You're getting it from what's called the IMF. If you don't believe me and you're getting a Social Security check, look at when it says Treasury. Okay? So those checks are not coming from what you know as the Social Security Administration. It's not. It's not. It's coming from the IMF. You see what I'm saying? So, with that being said, let's cook. This is the reason why I say people should read, because it's very fundamental. I'm on the Bretton-Woods Agreement, which you can find online via PDF. Let's start there. No person shall be entitled to receive any salary or other compensation from the United States for services as a governor. Okay? Executive director, counselor, alternate, or associate. Now, pay close attention to the words I'm going to say. The United States executive director of the fund shall not be compensated by the fund at the rate in excess of the rate provided for an individual occupying a position at level 4 of the executive schedule under section 5315 of Title 3. United States Code. The United States alternate executive director of the fund shall not be compensated by the fund. The Secretary of Treasury shall instruct the United States executive director, i.e. president, the one that y'all want to keep voting for. Now you know why they want you to vote. It's not about who's going to do better. It's about banking, people. Your votes are nothing more than you resubmitting your pledge. But that's another story for another day. The Secretary of Treasury shall instruct the United States Executive Director of the Fund to present to the Fund's Executive Board a comprehensive set of proposals consistent with maintaining high levels of competence of fund personnel and consistent with the Articles of Agreement, with the objective of ensuring that the salaries and other compensation accorded fund employees do not exceed those received by persons filing similar levels responsibly within the national government service. The Secretary shall report these proposals under any measures adopted by the Fund's Executive Board to the Congress prior to February 1st, 1979. What am I saying, people? You have to understand the fund that they're talking about is your trust entrusted to the United States. With that being said, it's entrusted, but it's held in trust. So you're given the number based upon the balancing of the ledger to say, quote, this number can only be used in association with trade or commerce, which is why people are charged for everything. You're charged for everything. Everything you do, every job you work, everything you consume, everything that you involve yourself with, property taxes, you name it, revenue base. Revenue base. And that's in less than 14 minutes. I try to explain to a lot of people why I say what I say and do what I do. Because you have to understand. The reason why they call it redemption is because you have to save yourself from the extraction of your wealth, your gains, and your capital. It's not about going into some fund trying to get something out because there's nothing there. It's in deficit. And since it's in deficit, whose job is it to replace what is in deficit? The population. I don't care what you do in society, whether you're employed, whether you're in prison, whether you're a doctor, it doesn't matter. All integral sources of society work upon this model. That's a real talk. And since we know this now, and we're educated, let us act responsibly and accordingly. Yeah, I think we should do that. But this is the reason why, for so many years, I've been telling people, this is why we need to do this for what we need to do. Keep your gains to yourself. That's the objective. That's the rule of the game. The objective is to keep your funds to yourself. Redeeming yourself from a system that is firmly set in place to make nothing more than the population a smaller cog on the financial wheel. That's facts. That's why we do what we do. This is why we file UCC1s. This is why your court documents won't be accepted. This is why you get so much resistance. You cannot get your remedy from outside of yourself. The remedy has to come from within. That's the truth. And this is the reason why I tell people, study. No, but people want to file lawsuits and do this and do that. Yeah, it's all gravy. The courts are going to protect the system. If you notice, the way the Constitution was set up, just like anyone who opens up a LLC, that's what United States is, an LLC. But you had to have the executive, the legislative, and then the judicial. So it trickles down from the top. But who gets the end result? The population. That's a fact. This is all about banking, people. And this is why I tell people, when you come into this knowledge, start looking at everything as a financial transaction. Serious. Start looking at yourself as being a private banker. In essence, that my business is solvent. United States is insolvent. Big difference. So people, understand what I'm saying, where I'm coming from. Gotta study. But we're in this situation because socially, these are the rules that were set in place for specific business purposes. Your so-called courts are administrative. They're not judicial. They're strictly administrative. And anytime you encounter that, just know that the Constitution and administration they don't go hand in hand. They do not. You see what I'm saying? And the system of government was always designed to keep people, the population, in line. That's why I see a lot of people complain about, man, we still got to pay bills, man, we still got to do this, man, we still got to do that. Sometimes if you read, you can figure it out yourself. You can. What about foreclosure? What about it? See, you have the answers to all your problems if you study. But if you don't study, you'll never get the answer. It's all commerce, people. It's all commerce. It's all commerce. Whether you like it or not. Everything you do is commercial. But the only individual commercially that can reserve their rights is you. But the saying goes, if you don't know your rights, you don't have any. Now, do y'all get where that saying comes from? If you don't inform yourself of your rights, you ain't got none. So, it's mind over matter. But if you ain't got no mind, it don't matter. Simple. Simple as that. So, people, stick with me on the next video, and I'll come back at y'all with some more mathematics. But take what I say in this video as a word of caution. Only you can save yourself. It has to come from within, not outside. Peace, light, love. I'm out.